Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Paul Cachoa. I am a physical therapist and owner of PAR5 Physical Therapy here in Randolph, New Jersey. I'm also a certified golf fitness instructor by the Titleist Performance Institute. I'm here to talk to you today about some simple exercises that you can do at home to improve your mobility, your stability, your speed, power, and strength. And all we need is a foam roller and a kettlebell. So for golfers, rotation should come from two parts, your hips and your thoracic spine, your mid-back. Here are some exercises that you can do at home to improve mobility and rotation in those two areas. The first one is called the hip drop. We can start off in this supported position with the hands back. Try and keep your pelvis down, and then gently, with your feet nice and wide, rotate the knees from one direction to the other. We're going to go side to side like this, nice and easy for 2 minutes. If this is too difficult for you, you could also do this in a supine position where you'll get on your back with your feet wider than hip width apart and rotate in and out from here. We want to try and keep the pelvis as still as possible so that we don't rotate the lower back, so we can get rotation through the hips. Another exercise that you can do to improve your thoracic rotation is with a foam roller. We're going to lie this down and start with it on the lower ribs with your hips and knee bent. You can place your hands behind your head with your elbows forward. This will create some tension in your back and also get your shoulder blades out of the way. From here, we're going to keep the abdominals on and then try and drop your head and shoulders back. And then we're going to do that a couple times each segment. And we can kind of roll the foam roller a little bit higher on your spine and repeat the process each segment up in your mid-back. Try and keep your abdominals on so that when you go back, your lower back doesn't hyperextend. Try and keep some tension here and keep your ribs down. Your thoracic spine can only rotate when it is extended. It cannot rotate when it's flexed forward. So if you're going to get into your golf posture and you find yourself really rounded forward and try and make a backswing, this would be tight in your mid-back, and then you'll try and make up for that range of motion loss in your lower back. And then that's what typically causes a lot of back pain when people can't rotate where they're supposed to rotate. Another exercise that you can use a foam roller for is called an open book exercise. You're going to be lying on your side. We can put one knee up on that foam roller, support your head, and we're going to take this top hand and then rotate it back and then forward. Trying to keep tension pressing into the foam roller with this top knee. So we don't want that knee to move, and we want that lower back to stay still and get that rotation through that mid-back, that ribs, your thoracic spine. So those are a couple exercises that you can use to improve the mobility of your hips and your mid-back. So to develop power and strength in your golf swing, we want to use a kettlebell to work on what we call a deadlift. So the deadlift is performed from the ground with your feet about shoulder width apart. It starts with sending the hips back. This is the hip hinge, keeping the knees directly over the ankles. This position right here mimics your golf posture. From here, we can continue to bend forward, keeping the back as straight as possible, utilizing the hips and the knees, grasp the weight, and then come up straight. Some key points of performance here is to get the movement from the hips, not from your lower back or your spine, sending the hips back, keeping the knees over the ankles, and then pushing through the whole foot, from the heel to the ball of your foot evenly. Now, once we master that hip hinge deadlift pattern, then we could start to incorporate some strength and power. The power component comes from utilizing the ground and the hips to drive the kettlebell in what we call the kettlebell swing. From this hanging position, we could swing the weight through the thighs and explode, driving the hips forward to push the kettlebell up. Now this movement is done with the legs to drive the pelvis up. The kettlebell swing should never be performed raising the kettlebell using the arms. This is analogous to the golf swing where we want to generate power through the legs, through the ground, into the pelvis, the trunk, the arms, and finally the club. We don't want to raise the kettlebell with the arms, just like we don't want to swing a golf club just with the arms. Once we get this pattern going, where we're driving through the feet, using the glutes and the hips to drive that kettlebell forward, we can start to get fancy and start to do this with one leg and one arm. Now, if you're experiencing pain with any of the exercises that we went through, please give me a call or email me. Now, to perform a kettlebell swing with one leg, we can get in that same posture where we hinge at the hip and the knee, kind of mimicking our address position in golf. We have one leg behind me, which is using a little bit of a toe touch, so majority of my weight is on one leg, and we could start to swing this kettlebell forward and backward. And again, using the lower body to initiate this forward momentum. So I'm pushing through the ground, extending the leg and the hip, and getting the weight of the kettlebell to swing forward. There's a little bit of rotation that occurs as I rotate or swing this kettlebell behind me. I'm rotating over this lead leg, and I'm using my lower body to drive and swing this kettlebell up. So it's not an arm motion. My arm is just along for the ride as I'm doing this motion. So those are simple exercises that you can start to use to initiate this ground reaction force using the lower body to create speed and power and being able to transfer that into the club. I hope these exercises can help you out and improve your golf game in the off season. For more information, go to my website at par5pt.com, or you can email me at paul@par5pt.com. Thanks for watching.